WrestleFriends Podcast!
Welcome to the WrestleFriends Podcast. I'm Dave. I'm Mark's here.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Mark.
It's been a busy week in wrestling.
It has been, well, we have not recorded for some time.
Loads of stuff's happened this week, though. But before we get into that, what you done this week, Mark?
I went to see Fuzzy
Ooh, me too.
on Sunday.
What a quinky dink.
On Saturday, the day before, I went to see North Wrestling.
You had a busy weekend.
I did. Had plenty of time on my hands.
Fuzzy was a good night, though.
So, yeah, it was.
What do you want to talk about? Because you went in North Wrestling the night before. Are they in your wrestle thoughts?
That's to be wrestle thoughts, so there should be. Like, Fuzzy's not. So
because Fuzzy's like music, even though it's wrestle related. We can't have them as wrestle thoughts.
You know what? What I found strange when I see Fuzzy. So, Tom, who we were with, who was quite drunk and said lots of funny things, he was chanting like Y2J and You Still Got It at Chris Jericho, and I was like, nah.
Yeah, it's a Fuzzy chant.
It's a gig. It's a gig. It's not like, and I like how, and like when people are doing that, Jericho was like, no, it's like Fuzzy. And like, I enjoyed that, and I don't think Tom got it.
What was your favourite bit about Fuzzy?
Mainly like the songs and that.
Yeah.
I liked Judas because that was the one that I knew. There was another one that I knew. I can't remember what it's called, but
was it Bad Tattoo?
It was one that he plays on Tortoise Jericho all the time.
Right, can't remember.
It was like before they played Judas every week, which is now. Yeah.
I really like Fuzzy. I like them. They're kind of like a cross between Guns N' Roses and Metallica.
I just like them because they're like a party band, aren't they? Like,
And he looked like he was having such a good time on stage.
He looked well.
He looked well, and he looked like he was having a really mint time.
He did. In
the sort of fashion you probably
He's
don't
kind
look
of like... I think Chris Jericho like has created... It's like a dream world that he lives in, isn't he?
I know. He must be constantly on tour as well, because...
When he's finished with the wrestling.
Do you think he even has a home? Or if he's just like...
He's got like 3 kids.
Has he?
And a wife.
Crikey. Mustn't see them very much.
No.
I wonder if they go on tour with them and stuff.
Can't imagine that he brought his kids to like Newcastle from... I presume he doesn't live in Canada anymore, but America.
I thought it was quite funny that he'd been tootling around in Newcastle looking for some food. Wouldn't that have been cool if he'd have just bumped into Chris Jericho whilst he was looking for some...
Do you want to come to Wetherspoons?
I wonder if like, because like...
I'll buy you a sandwich.
If you're not into wrestling, and you're not into rock music, you don't really know who Chris Jericho is.
He would have been tooting around and loads of people wouldn't have known who he was.
It was like, I watched an episode of Being the Elite, when the Young Bucks lost that luggage, and they were like walking around Newcastle past the gate, and I thought that would have been mint if you'd bumped into them, because like you would have got like free signatures and stuff like that, and like in a photo for not even having to buy a t-shirt.
I think like we forget in the wrestling world, because people like Chris Jericho and the Young Bucks are like massive like stars in the wrestling world, and we as wrestling enthusiasts would see them in the same way as like people see Hollywood superstars. But like a normal guy in the street's not going to know who they are. It's like a weird
sort of like, especially like the indie guys, because if you're in WWE you might have seen them like on a TV advert.
I think like John Cena would get recognised in Newcastle.
Yeah, he's in loads of films, isn't he? I don't think John Cena would just walk around Newcastle, but
just from the sheer amount of kids.
I wonder if he gets like abuse when he's in the street, John Cena.
Probably.
Do you reckon people shout like John Cena sucks and stuff at him?
Yeah, but then he's probably just thinking, well, it's fine.
Made a fortune, you nerd.
I sold a t-shirt that said John Cena sucks and made money off it.
I'm gonna sneeze.
I got quite drunk.
You were drunk, weren't you?
Before Fuzzy.
I took my car, it was good.
And then I felt hungover for quite a lot of the day the next day, so that was bad. Me and Lucas played quite a lot of quiet games in the morning.
Gotta let your hair down now and again.
That's true.
How do you want to approach thoughts? Do you want to go first and go through North Wrestling, or...
I've got North Wrestling and some others. I could quickly do North Wrestling.
Do you want to quickly run through North Wrestling? Yeah. I'm a little bit upset that I didn't come to this because...
It was awesome.
It sounded good, yeah.
But the next show is in January, which you should come to.
I think
we should get a crew together.
The WrestleFriends crew.
Yeah.
Should we put a plea out there now if you listen to the show and you want to come? Why don't you come?
The people who I know who listen to the show, and I know, I'm probably going to text you anyway and ask you. So.
But there might be some people who listen to the show that we don't necessarily text.
Yeah.
But they're welcome to come because we're all WrestleFriends.
Well, they might be there anyway.
Possibly. Brett Devenish was there, but you didn't know who Brett Devenish was.
Didn't, but I would class him as a WrestleFriend.
I don't know if he listens to the podcast religiously, but he definitely comments on Facebook.
He might have listened to the podcast once, which is enough for me.
That makes you a WrestleFriend.
That's enough for me. So yeah, I went to North Wrestling, which was the event was called Fire, Fire, Fire.
Correct. But it took them ages to think of that.
Fire, Fire, Fire. It was at the Riverside in Newcastle, which is a brilliant venue, which was where I saw Fuzzy as well, which is weird. Same venue 2 nights in a row.
Can I just, before you go any further, can I just say, you know what I like about North Wrestling? You know when we first started doing the podcast, I used to comment on things to try and get people to listen. They always used to reply.
Yeah.
And apparently they've actually listened to our podcast before. So
how do you know that?
Because I commented on something that they posted once. I don't know what it was. I can't remember now. And I said, I'll do this if you listen to the WrestleFriends podcast. And then they commented underneath, already have, man, with an exclamation mark. So I think they might have listened.
Oh, right, cool.
Don't know if they still listen.
They might have just lied to you to get you to do a thing.
Possibly, but I didn't do the thing either, so we're all lying.
So everybody's a liar. Yeah, so what's good about the Riverside is it's a no-seating venue. So, like, someone gets stripped out of the ring, you need to get the fuck out of the way pretty quickly.
So you because there's balcony, and then were you up there?
No, I wasn't on the balcony. What was interesting about North Wrestling is quite a lot of the balcony seats were reserved for photographers. Actually had a sticker on saying reserved for, like, Jim Johnson.
Bobby Lesnar.
And so, like, I went up and had a look and stuff, and, like, took a photo and stuff from the top. But it was much better being, like, ringside.
I can't imagine it fits like that many people in once the ring's in.
There was 210 people there.
And can you get like around the ring, like around the or is it just like is the ring like in front of the stage sort of thing?
No, it's like in the middle of the building.
Right.
It's like the best experience I've had watching wrestling in terms of like intimacy, which makes it sound like I want to bum the wrestlers, but
a little bit,
kind of do in some respects. But yeah. It just classed like you just like there. Someone was thrown out the ring, you have to duck out the way. Someone actually got thrown out the ring, and Rory Kyle out of the Sons of Ulade was sent to a guy in a wheelchair. You're gonna have to move in a second.
Really?
Yeah, because like obviously you needed time to.
At least he warned him.
You needed time to move his wheelchair. So it started off with Spike Trivet versus Amir Jordan. So Amir Jordan's like if the Bollywood boys were cool.
Right.
He's like a local wrestler. He's like quite a high flyer, and he wrestled Spike Trivet, who's like a Tory. I really liked his character. He was wrestling like chinos, argyle socks, and he was like spitting like wine in people's face.
Yeah.
Like, on the way down.
That's pretty cool. I know a few people like that.
And obviously Tory, like in Newcastle, you're gonna be like a mega heel like immediately.
Yeah.
Fans were shouting stuff like "Where's your majority?" and stuff like that. So Trivet won the match, which I like to say because like I always like heels to win. It was like a choke break. Everyone like it was like a choke slam on the knee sort of move.
Right.
Really good, technically sound match. Like Amir Jordan's really good high flyer. I think I'm going to see him again on the 25th of November because he also wrestles for Shield, Nearly Pro Wrestling, which is a South Shields based company that I've just found out about. So you're welcome to come to that if you can.
When I didn't know anything about this.
It's South Shields based wrestling company I've literally just found out about.
Are they the ones that do the wrestling school, do you think?
They do the school as well.
Alright, cool.
So I think we should go in.
I don't know if I'll be able to come, but I'll think about it.
So yeah, he's wrestling there as well, so I'll be seeing him again.
Cool.
He does like Bollywood dancing, but not in a Bollywood boys kind of way.
I don't know if I can take any more of that.
No, it was like doing it at a party sort of way. You'll see.
Not in a no way Jose kind of way.
Nah.
No.
So next was England's hardest men, Shreddy Beck and Shreddy Breck.
They've got really English names, these teams, haven't they? Like
Yeah.
British.
Shreddy Breck and Big Lou Nixon. They were like party boy type tag teams.
Shreddy Breck. I like it.
And they wrestled the Landon Gentry, Zio Knox and Benji, who were the other Tories. So the Tories were like a stable, which was quite nice. So this match was weird. So English hardest men were getting the upper hand, and then a Sunderland fan interfered. But then some other Geordies came in and like beat him down, but like rushed past you, like knocking you over to get him. Like
so who are they? Are they actual?
They're the wrestlers.
They're the wrestlers.
They had these lads whose names I can't remember. They had wrestled the Landon Gentry on the previous show,
right?
And lost. So yeah, you had like Tories and Mackhams
and footballers
versus
football fans.
Yeah, and then there was like Shreddy Breck and what's he called again? Big Lou Nixon. Like Shreddy Breck's like an absolute like beast, like huge, and the other guy's like a kickboxing guy kind of style, but they like do funny like fashion file style.
Yeah.
Like that's another thing I was impressed. Like every match had like a full promo package. And,
Yeah, that's what I was saying about that thingy as well. The WCPW one I went to. I didn't know that they did that. It's good. Isn't it?
And yeah, so that was a good match. So England's hardest men, who were like the Uber faces of the night, they went over, which was nice. So next was HT Drake versus Robbie X.
Gets everywhere, HT Drake, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. This was probably technically the best match of the night. Mm-hmm. If you've never seen Robbie X before, he's really good. He's quite small and stocky. He's from Lancashire, I think. I'd never seen him before, but he's really good. Like does like stand and shoot. Like the way you're looking at him, you don't expect him to do it.
Yeah.
But you can do like standing, shooting star presses and all sorts of stuff like that. That was a really good match. HT Drake obviously came out on top in that one. It seems to be gathering a lot of momentum in North Wrestling.
He's like every single like.
I like the whole kill all gimmicks kind of.
Every single show you go to around here, he's at it. Like everything I've ever been to, he's been at it.
So that was probably the best technically match. So really enjoyed that. Then there was Sons of Ulaid, Rory Kyle and Baz Ban, who I really like, who I'd seen a couple of times before. They kind of like a Bray Wyatt style, like kind of backwoods redneck tag team. Baz Ban wears like a kind of flesh mask and big dungarees, and like Rory Kyle's like his older brother, he's like his handler type thing.
But like Chainsaw Massacre thing.
Yeah. So I really like them, and they wrestled Sweet Jesus, Pastor William Ever, who you saw.
Yeah, my favourite.
To find, and Chuck Mambo, who's like his little like partner.
Did he use his Bible at any point?
Nah. They had like lime green trunks with like crosses on and stuff like that though. They were meant to be the faces, but like they got booed so badly, and like the ring.
The pastor was being a face.
They were supposed to be the faces
because he was playing the heel when we see them.
And the announcer even said after the match, the Sons of Ulaid would go anywhere else in the country and get booed, but in Newcastle, like they're the mega faces when they're like sticking their fingers up at everybody and stuff like that. So yeah, I really like this. When I've seen, it was like your standard tag match. When I've seen Sons of Ulaid before, they played this character that's more darkly, like the more kind of, whereas it was a little bit comedy, which wasn't really my style. But I enjoyed it. Well, it is my style, but not with them. Didn't want to see them doing comedy, but I enjoyed it. It was a good match.
Cool.
But Sons of Ulaid won. I don't think they've lost a match in North Wrestling yet.
What sort of like belts have they got?
None.
No belts?
No.
No champion?
And they've been going for a year and a bit, so that's got to be like something that they're thinking about in the future.
Yeah.
So yeah, challengers for that belt are going to be like Primate, HT Drake, kind of Liam Slater, so it'll be quite an exciting thing to watch. Next was 5 Minutes of Fame, Liam Slater versus Don Black. So like Liam Slater did this really funny thing at the beginning where it was like reasons that North Wrestling should fire Don Black, and it was things like he's got tiny little like pants and things like that. So that was quite funny. Liam Slater was the heel. Don Black was like uber face, kind of Daniel Bryan style, like smaller kind of wrestling, just wrestling man.
Like generic wrestling man who's like underdog.
Yeah. So the whole story was like Liam Slater didn't really want to wrestle him, so he said, right, you've got 5 minutes with us, and he kept like doing stalling tactics and stuff. And they did a little bit of brawling, and then the match ended. So Liam Slater was like tapping himself on the head.
I've seen Liam Slater before, but I can't remember where. I'm sure.
He wrestled
I've seen him.
the World Cup 2017, which went through Newcastle. They had a few of the matches there. But yeah, he wrestles all over. He's like one of the most hardest working British wrestlers. So after it went to a no contest, Primate came out and challenged Slater to a hardcore match at the next show, and just basically said, "You're fucked," which was nice.
I like Primate.
So that's part of the reason I want to go to the next show as well, because.
So, how do they work then? Do they just do Northeast shows?
What do you mean?
Like
North Wrestling.
North Wrestling.
Yeah, it's just that resident at the Riverside every month.
So that storyline, when you see it won't progress anymore, it'll just be like a follow on from that.
Yeah. It was literally like Primate comes out, sets up the match will be next time.
Yeah.
Like I presume Liam Slater will try and get out of it, or they might add other people to the match. Who knows? But
Sounds good.
So Primate confirmed for the next show. Then it was the main event, Eddie Dennis versus Dave Mastiff, which was an absolute war. Dave Mastiff, if you've never seen him before, he used to be in a tag team with Killian Dane, and he's about the same dimensions, like an absolute beast of a man. And Eddie Dennis is like, he's kind of like Vince's archetypal wrestler. He's like about 6'4", like slender, muscular, like he's got the Randy Orton physique.
Like you're an American footballer type guy.
Yeah. But the absolute war. Two massive guys just absolutely destroying each other. Ended up like out in the street. They were like threatening to throw each other in the town and stuff, which was pretty cool. Just brawling next to an ambulance, and I thought like, this is pretty cool. This is like kind of thing you'd see backstage and like the Attitude Era type thing. They're very much like a kind of adult kind of, was like, no, it wasn't like aimed at kids as well at all. It wasn't like see American wrestling at the parks, leisure centre type thing.
Yeah, it's like, I think, these later shows that you're getting, because when we went to WCPW, there was like, I think Jake might have been the only kid there, and there was other kids there, but like, you could count on one hand how many kids were there. I think they're more aimed at adults, aren't they?
Yeah, but I
cool.
Like, it was fantastic because you could let your hair down.
Yeah.
So thoughts on well, I'll just finish quickly your thoughts on North Wrestling. Eddie Dennis won that. Eddie Dennis had a trial with Primate yesterday at WWE.
With Primate?
Both of them.
For UK, they
just had a trial with WWE, that's all they said, and it was with William Regal, so I presume it's for that.
Yeah.
Eddie Dennis and Primate would both be...
I would really like to see Primate on that.
They would both be welcome additions to... I
wonder if they've got in touch with Jimmy Havoc.
Who knows? He said a few things on Twitter that I've noticed that seem a little bit like there might be something going on there. You've got to think though, like, someone like Jimmy Havoc, like all of these guys like Primate, like they could still work their local shows if they're going to run it in the same way that they've done it.
It depends how they do it though. You would imagine
because Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne and all that have been able to work their local shows still. So.
I know, but if it's going to be like, it's because it hasn't really taken off yet though, isn't it? They might just be saying whilst it's getting going, you can do your own thing. But maybe it's like once it's properly on the go, it might be like NXT, because they don't really...
Some people are going to have to make a big decision there if they're going to do that, because there's people that could probably make more money staying on the indies.
Well, that's what we talked about last week, it's getting good, getting meaty, getting like that they've got that choice now. Like there's money to be made out there outside of the WWE.
You've already made your name if you've appeared on WWE television, and like obviously they were the biggest names in British wrestling anyway. Like some of them might step away.
I would like to see Primate on WWE TV.
Yeah, it would be awesome. A local lad. Now that Neville's gone, Need a new one.
No way, man, Neville. So...
Well, it actually hasn't gone. They haven't released him yet. Apparently they're refusing.
Really? They'll make his life crap, though, won't they? Like, put him, like, on rubbish shows.
So, me... Final thoughts on North Wrestling. They've got a really good YouTube channel so you can watch every show.
Can you?
All the way through.
Ooh.
They've had Jimmy Havoc, Pete Dunne, El Ligero, No Fun Dunne and the No Fun Police that we saw, Chikara. Like, they've had... That's why I always want to buy... Like, I'm going to get a ticket anyway because, like, that business model seems to be the final matches like Dave Mastiff and Eddie Dennis, who are massive... like British stars and everybody else is local stars. So like you're guaranteed to get a Jimmy Havoc, a Dave Mastiff, a Pete Dunne as their main event. Just they haven't obviously announced it yet. We'll probably make Liam Slater hardcore matches enough for me anyway.
How much are the tickets?
£15 if you want to do the Q&A. So there was a Q&A with Eddie Dennis and Matthew from Bostramania.
That after or before?
That was before. Or there's which I got was just regular ticket for a tenner, which I was quite happy with because then I could sit in Wetherspoons.
I think we should go at the next one, and I think we should sit in Wetherspoons and then go.
And always Saturday night as well.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Good terms.
And I think in January it'll be, I think we should do it.
So, but I can't, like, as an indie company, I can't, like, suggest them enough. Really good YouTube channel. You could watch, like, in a couple of days if you really wanted to, you could watch all of their back catalogue. Everybody's got promos. Everybody's got like vignettes.
I wonder if North Wrestling Man still listens, because like, why not let we'll have a wrestler come on the show? That would. Well,
nice. I'll share this podcast when it goes out with North Wrestling, and then we'll see.
We'll see. Be nice.
So a thought that I had was I was stood next to this bloke who was really annoying. His girlfriend was even getting annoyed by him. He was just making up chants every 2 seconds, things that weren't even funny. Do you think it's better just to chant randomly at wrestling events, or do you think that's annoying and it should just be funny things?
What if what you think is funny is actually annoying to everyone else?
But none of the things, honestly, none of the things you were saying were funny whatsoever.
What was he saying? What sort of things?
He just like he called one of the wrestlers a cunt. Like
that's
Spike Trevor
that's bad.
Spike is a cunt, but it's the kind of show where you can like
swear like that,
so you can get away with it. And then
was he drunk?
I think a little bit. But then the next guy who came out who was a heel, you would just chant the same thing. It's like you just do something different. Yeah, he just really annoyed it. You know what I'm like? I'm not, unless I'm really drunk. I'm not like I just sit and stand and watch and applaud. Whereas he was like.
Annoying man who shouts really bad rude words.
He was probably us at Chikara.
We weren't shouting.
No, like I even think, and that's my level of like understanding is I was that drunk at Chikara and I still didn't shout like that. So
that's kind of like it's quite like offensive, isn't it? To like
so like that word, like other adults might be offended by it. You don't know. I still wouldn't. I would never shout that. I'd rather shout something like inoffensive because I think that's funnier.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think funny. I think
poo head.
I think funny. Yeah, funny chants are better than full-on serious abusive chants.
Yeah, I didn't like this guy. In fact, I'm sure I like asked him to step aside a few paces.
Move along, sir.
Please. His girlfriend was even getting on. Your girlfriend's even annoyed at you.
You should have told him. Stupid idiot.
He was a stupid idiot. I was about to say he's ginger as well, but you're ginger, so I can't really say that.
You can call idiot gingers ginger. Ginger.
Should I do my other wrestle thoughts really quickly?
Yeah. It's that way you can do them as well. It doesn't really matter. Take your time. Take a load off.
Triple H joining the Shield on a live event in Glasgow.
Yep. And throughout the whole tour, by the looks of it.
I liked seeing him in the riot gear.
I think what they should have done is to put this whole Shield reunion on hold for a bit, because I think they might have sucked the life out of it a little bit.
There's no reason for Rollins and Ambrose to be wrestling in their gear. There was no reason for Kurt Angle to be wrestling in the gear. There was no reason for them two to be wrestling in the gear, unless it's the three of them. Like Angle, Rollins, and Ambrose could have had their normal entrances, but I guess they booked themselves into a corner because they probably wanted to save Angle's real reintroduction entrance in his singlet for Survivor Series.
Yeah.
But did they even know he was going to be on the team in Survivor Series?
I don't know.
It's kind of been, what I'm trying to say is it's been managed poorly. But I don't think Rollins and Ambrose should be wrestling in the
I just think they should have
security,
knocked it on the head for a bit
until Reigns is
Reigns was
sorted.
back, and they would have still cashed in on it. They would have still made a fortune out of it, and
But I think the problem is they had all the T-shirts printed ready.
I know, but now they've done it, and it's been going on. The Shield have been back together for what?
4 weeks.
Right, and now it's kind of nothing's really happening.
Yeah.
But from what I can gather, it's going to be Shield versus New Day at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
I'm in for that.
I mean, I was looking forward to
they've dropped
Ambrose and Rollins versus Usos as well. I thought that would have been good.
They've dropped the belt to the bar, so it's going to be bar.
So that's
Usos.
why they've done it, isn't it?
So the Ambrose and Rollins aren't encumbered with the title belts while they go into this feud with because the New Day they're like
because they're governed by making a champion versus champion now, aren't they? So they've got to do that now.
They're front and center of the whole invasion thing, aren't they?
Yeah.
The New Day they seem, but I think it's weird them acting like heels again.
Yeah.
Because I always preferred them as heels, so it's amazing.
So
but
I don't know what is the whole of SmackDown heel now.
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying?
That's because Raw hasn't attacked them yet. So you're painting SmackDown out.
But then
heels.
Kane attacked Daniel Bryan. But that could have been. Kane doesn't care though, does he? Kane's got no loyalty, has he?
But they're also teasing that it was Kurt Angle behind that, and that's going to be the inroad to their match.
To whose match?
Bryan and Angle.
And do you think that's going to happen? That's actually one of my thoughts.
I want it to happen.
I'm
just scrambling for reasons. But they have said Kane has.
I think you're more likely to get a Angle. What's his face match? Shane.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's it. There's a few options. So, Angle Shane makes sense because they're the GMs and they've been Shane's being attacked.
But Shane's not the GM. That's the thing. It's
Daniel Bryan. And then there's Daniel Bryan. So the Miz came out on Miz TV and said, "You organised the attack against Daniel Bryan, getting him back for the invasion, even though Bryan was there to say to you, I had nothing to do with it." But then he's also made Jason Jordan the 5th member of Team Raw Survivor Series, so Jason Jordan could heel turn. So there's 3 prospective matches there. So at this point they could decide who he wants to wrestle still, and go that way.
What do you think his entrance? Do you think it's gonna be old school Angle? Who's on Team Angle now? So it's Braun,
Samoa Joe,
Finn Balor,
and Jason Jordan.
I don't like Jason Jordan. I think they've totally dropped the ball with them.
I think they have, and I think he's a really good wrestler. But I think Chad Gable was always the better talent.
I think together they were a good team and they were over. And now that they've split them up, Jason Jordan's not over at all. And it's a bit of a shame for him.
If you think about it, it's a little bit like what they did with Roman Reigns on a smaller scale.
And they're pushing him down your throat. And I think the fans are sort of
But there's also Gable retained the siglet and stuff. The reference point where the fans knew what he was about. So I think they've given Gable more in a way, even because he is slower burn. Anyway, we talk about them a lot.
Because I think we talk about them a lot because we liked American Alpha and they've totally knacked it up.
They did.
And then shoved Chad Gable back into the same tag team.
Back to me original point. I thought it was really funny when Ambrose and Rollins did their suicide dives and
Triple H did it, old man.
Just went through the ropes and punched him.
I don't understand. Another thing I don't get about this was so the last time we saw Triple H, he was facing Rollins at WrestleMania, and Rollins was responsible for Stephanie going through a table, but now he's cool with that.
We've talked about how they never. That was messy.
And it's still messy, and now they're doing the Shield fist pump together.
Do you see why sometimes messiness is bad?
I know that is messy. You would not. Seth Rollins is now called. What's he called? the Legend Slayer or something like the King Slayer, because off the back of that, and like now he's his mate. I
would like if to buy WWE, get Rollins and Triple H in my office and say, right, hang on a second, we need some resolution here.
Do you think he's going to come back, Triple H,
to wrestle?
Oh, like yeah. Do you think he's going to come back on telly and wrestle?
Yeah.
When? Like, where does he fit in all this at the minute?
I don't. He, general amazing ambassador for wrestling is where he fits in. So my next Triple H thought, he showed up at ICW in Cardiff with Pete Dunne.
Did he?
Did you see that?
No. I think I heard about it, but
ICW in Cardiff, a couple of hundred people there, similar size show at North Wrestling. Just rocked up. Pete Dunne was like, "Oh, it's good to have friends," and then he bought the promoter out. Mm-hmm. The promoter was like, "Oh yeah, it's good to have friends in it." Triple H, get out here, and the crowd started laughing. But then he did.
Really?
And then the music hit. He basically said like, "Indie wrestling's awesome. Thanks for coming out to shows. This is where wrestling starts for all our guys." He understands how important
he understands it, doesn't he? Whereas Vince is like, indie wrestling? That's not cool. Whereas Vince is the least cool person.
So in a week, I've seen North Wrestling. Triple H just showed up at ICW, and guys from that North Wrestling show that I saw had tryouts with Triple H, like in the UK. Like that's all like interconnected. Like ICW, like WWE, they're like official partners, so they can use footage for like DVDs for like Finn Balor and people like that. It's like it's all the way it should go.
They should start putting it on the network.
ICW. Well, I think that's going to have to be the idea eventually.
Wouldn't cost very much, surely, to do that. I mean, surely they're already doing like, I mean, the production costs and stuff like that. I mean, they could contribute a little bit to that, but
the production costs of indie wrestling in general, like ICW, HD Show, all of the North Wrestling, when you watch them on YouTube, they're like HD.
And you don't want to see them go over the top neither, because that sucks the sort of like the essence away from an indie show, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be gritty, hasn't it?
But
I suppose that's what makes that's what makes NXT sort of good, because it's
high production values, but
it's still got its grit, which is good.
It's the size, isn't it? So my next thought is Pete Dunne debuts on Raw in Manchester on the 6th.
Just Raw in general this week was like good. So
Enzo is rambling on. Kalisto comes out and takes a seat at ringside. Dunne's music hits, gets a huge pop. Then Angle comes out and introduces him.
You think they messed that up a little bit? Like, because his music came on, there was a huge pop. Then Angle came out. Surely it should have
been like Angle's music.
And then heard. Yeah, I thought they messed it up a bit.
But I thought it was a big what's the word I'm looking for? Endorsement for Angle to come out and introduce him. That Cole puts him over, which was nice. He wins with the bitter end. Enzo was distracted throughout by Kalisto at ringside, which really annoyed us. It like took away from.
Did you think that Enzo got a bit much out of that, because he? I thought he was gonna get like totally brutalized by Pete Dunne, but he actually.
I wouldn't have minded the fact that Enzo got a lot of the match if Kalisto wasn't distracting him all the time.
Do you not think Enzo's doing a fantastic job at the minute as well of being like uber heel?
Well, like I loved it when he was just rambling on, and like Cole was like, "I'm gonna have to leave in a second." He just kept going and going and going. So then I particularly like Dunne elbowing him in the back of the head, like absolutely just.
I like it when he punched him in the face. That was quite good.
And like, obviously it was awesome to see him on Raw, but I had quite a lot of problems with quite a lot of it. I didn't like the fact that he celebrated with Kalisto at the end.
No, I thought he was going to attack him.
Pete Dunne doesn't celebrate with people.
So he says he's a face now. Is that what they're saying?
What? But I don't. He's not a face.
He's not.
He's like King Heel. So.
But he was still pulling these heely faces whilst he had.
It made him look a bit weird.
I don't know where they're going with it. I haven't watched 205 Live yet. But
well, 205, it's Invasion of the UK.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like,
I'm gonna actually watch. It's gonna actually make us watch it.
I'm gonna watch it, but I can't see where they're gonna go with it. Like,
I think it's just a one night.
Just a funsies.
Do
you think they're just trying to sort of push the UK guys now who they've already got another belt to sort of like, because the UK show might be King of the Ring, apparently they're going to call it.
I would talk about that. It's like, it's a good idea how it's a name people already know.
I'd love to see Pete Dunne just be on Raw though. Also, Johnny Gargano's getting a UK Championship shot on NXT, so that means guys not from UK can go for
Wrestle
it.
for it.
So that's pretty cool.
So it's not going to be on War Games, but it's going to be, how they do the next NXT at War Games. It's going to be like the main event of that, so that's like...
That's alright.
Get to see the match. And it means because it's going to be the main event of NXT, it's not going to be like... it'll be a proper...
I bet it's really good as well.
Oh, it'll be mint. I think Gargano will lose again.
It's got to be a Gargano loss, and I reckon we might see the return of...
It's got to be soon.
Tommaso.
We've been... So it was episode 2 of of the podcast that was Why Tommaso Why, and we're now at episode 16 or 17?
I don't know. Is this 16?
16, but we've done we've done 17 episodes. This is 16. Yeah, like it must have been a bad injury.
I don't know. It was his leg, wasn't it?
That's it from me for now.
Really?
Yeah.
No NXT?
Nah, I've got a new rule for NXT, so I'm gonna throw away the 3 episodes I'd written up. I'm gonna pick it up 3 episodes ago from now,
right?
And I'm allowed 2 points from every NXT, and that's it.
Okay.
So
see how that goes.
That should make things more streamlined.
Right, do you want to do mine now? My thoughts. That was short.
Someday we will find WrestleFriends.
Nice. What was that?
Mysterious Cities of Gold, a French cartoon.
I remember that. Is that the one where they used to ride around a big plane that was like
a big
bird?
A big golden eagle.
Did I?
Na.
Guess what?
What?
Chris Jericho is going to fight Kenny Omega.
I've got that as one of my wrestle thoughts, but I thought, nah, Dave will definitely have
covering this bad lad. So Wrestle Kingdom, which is obviously New Japan's WrestleMania. Wow, what do you think about this?
I think of lots of things about it.
There's so many questions about this. Did Vince know about it? Is there some sort of like...
I'm going to say I think it's Vince orchestrated.
Why?
I don't know, but it smacks of like... I think Jericho's such a company guy for the WWE that...
I've heard 2 different stories. Story number 1 is Vince didn't know about it. Chris Jericho does his rockin' wrestling cruise. So apparently he went to Vince to ask for some NXT guys to do some cross-promotional stuff with the Ring of Honor guys. Vince said no, so he decided he was going to do Wrestle Kingdom. I've heard Jericho watched McGregor Mayweather and wanted to do something along those lines.
Yeah.
So this is his way of doing something like that. I've also heard that Vince knew about it, and it's his way of... So they're going to have this match, and then Omega's going to be at the Rumble, and then the next match is going to be at WrestleMania. Which one would you prefer?
I think I'd prefer the one that would benefit me the most, which is...
the WrestleMania one?
Yeah.
I would love to see Omega at WrestleMania.
But there's also the thought that
then they're gonna
out of all the wrestlers in the world, he's the guy that needs to go to WWE.
But then they're gonna ruin the Elite, and they're gonna ruin all that cool stuff.
I don't think they would sign the Bucks.
I don't think the Bucks will. If I get signed by WWE at this moment in my head, I don't think that's gonna happen.
You can sign Kenny Omega and put him as a centerpiece, but they've never put tag teams as centerpieces before.
It's like it's bittersweet because then you get Kenny Omega in WWE, but then you've split the Elite up, and then you've got I suppose you've got Cody who could take over as Bullet Club leader, but is Cody as fun as Omega?
I don't think Omega's gonna go. As much as I'd like it to be the Vince thing, I think it's probably not.
Do you think?
I just think Jericho is such an amazing businessman. He'll be able to wrestle this match and still get back into WWE.
Do you not think the most likely story would be the one where he's took a huff because he's not allowed the NXT people?
Yeah, maybe.
Whatever. Anyway, I'm really excited about it, and I can't wait to watch it. It's gonna be really good.
We need to figure out a way to watch it because we're on holiday, as a thing.
Logistically,
like a fun thing.
It works.
Drinks.
It works out where I'm sure it's morning, when we get Wrestle Kingdom. I've never watched it
We
before
could
live.
watch it with like not drinking, but with like
breakfast stuff.
stuff. I had a little sidebar. I was really impressed with Omega as a Japanese.
He's really good, isn't he?
I don't think I'd ever seen a promo. Obviously, like you're a bigger Japanese wrestling.
Yeah,
guy
he's fluent in
than me.
Japanese. I think it's Jericho now as well.
Jericho's not.
No.
He knows. I've
He
heard him talk
he
about
knows
it
a
few
couple of
times.
words, doesn't he? What was I going to say?
But that's really clever to do. Yeah, part of your promo for your American audience and part of your promo for your Japanese audience. So you essentially said what you needed to say, so they didn't need to subtitle the Japanese bit.
Yeah.
It's clever.
It was a good little promo, and then obviously Jericho shows up.
Who
And-
wins?
Just gotta be Omega, surely.
No contest.
Surely put him over.
No contest. Have him back.
I can't see why, because Jericho, surely it's only going to be a one match thing. It
That's what
doesn't
it's-
benefit Jericho to win that match, does it? And what it'll do in return is Omega will probably do his cruise for him. You would have thought.
Maybe.
Because when all this stuff started
The
on
Bucks
Twitter,
are on the cruise, aren't they?
yeah, and Marty
Imagine going on
Scurll
that
as well.
cruise.
Be so cool, wouldn't it? Fuzzy and wrestling.
And like other wrestling fans would probably drink and that.
I don't know. It'd be so cool.
I think I would probably do what I did at Shikara and not take it into its fullest.
And end up overboard or something.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go too much into it because I think we should just save it and sort of like just watch it when it happens and see what happens. And I'm not going to overthink
We're
it.
probably going to mention it every week.
I'm not. I don't want to like overthink it to the point of where by the time when it comes along, I'm sort of like not that bothered by it.
I think we'll probably mention it in part every time we record from now until when it happens.
Right. I'm just gonna like not talk about it anymore. Marty Scurll defeated Will Ospreay for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship at Power Struggle. Seen that coming, didn't we?
We did.
Um,
Doing well for himself, isn't he, Marty?
double champion now.
Do you think he'll have the belt at Defiant, or do New Japan not do that? So yeah, I wonder if he'll have the.
I don't know. Do they do that? I don't know.
It's more likely than a WWE one, but then I say that Pete Dunne
Pete
carries
Dunne's
his
been
around
taking
all
his
the time.
everywhere, hasn't he? He didn't have it at.
He actually made reference to it at ICW. He was like, "Isn't it cool that I can bring a WWE belt on this show? I can also bring something else."
Yeah.
Which turned out to be Triple H. They've got to have big plans for him. Triple H seems to be like everywhere
Yeah,
that he
he
is.
seems really high on him, doesn't he?
But then why did they need to like have Kalisto? It really upset us. It really upset
Do you
us.
think Kalisto is like
So Pete Dunne should go in there, wreck Enzo, and then wreck
Kalisto as well? That's Pete Dunne's character, isn't it? Like wreck everyone. And Kalisto's like crap, isn't he?
He was, but he raised Dunne's hand at the end of the match, and Dunne done his heel face, and I was like, this just doesn't sit right.
Bringing Kalisto into 205 Live isn't helping 205 Live.
I'm not anti-Kalisto. Like, I like to say, like, a high-flying luchador, but I was anti what happened. I don't want him anywhere
Apparently,
near.
Tommy's on his way to 205 Live.
That's exciting.
Um,
I think we're ending up more like with Drew Gulak's no-fly zone and like people like Atami and that. There's going to be much more just like smaller like kind of workers, like physical matches, which is what you want to see really. I like high flying, but I prefer like a good battle.
I thought it was funny when Enzo was doing his promo and he doing the kid's voice and he thought it was Kalisto. That was brilliant. That
You
really
do
brilliant.
get the impression that he would just never run out of words.
Do
he
you not
literally
think
talked for the whole time.
I
So
really
he-
enjoying what he's doing at the minute, and I do think it's all a big thing like being made up. But he's even being like a jerk on like on sort of like social media and stuff like that. So when you see his videos and stuff on Instagram and that, he's dancing around in a baseball match with a belt on and walking around the pitch and stuff with it. It's like he's getting real heat for being like.
If you look at all of those guys on the roster of 205 Live, and I had full reign, he'd still be my champion.
He'd be mine as well. Like, especially since Neville's gone. There's no one else. Could give Gulak a run because he's funny.
I mean, who's... Well, like...
Tony Nese is a hell of an athlete, but they don't really do much with him, do they?
No, that's the thing. It's like... And the Drew Gulak thing's not because the writers have written it for him. It was his indie character.
Uh-huh.
So he's obviously got and went, I have had this character. And
got this idea, so they've let him pitch it, they've let him do it, and then... Anyway, we talk about 205 Live probably like every week now and how we could save it, but nothing ever happens.
I'm going to watch
Vince is probably not listening.
I'm going to watch the UK guys one.
Do you think... it's got to end sometime, hasn't it, 205 Live, if it doesn't improve?
Yeah.
Anyway,
who knows?
I've been thinking a lot about release I've wrote. Maybe it should be Matt Hardy's new thing. Release. There's been lots of people being released.
There's been some money saving.
So I've now lost Emma.
That was weird. 2 days after she wrestled a high profile match.
I thought that was weird. And then Leo Rush tweeted inappropriate things about her.
Yeah. It's kind of like, and someone summed it up on Twitter, it's kind of like at 20 years old getting a job, just going in and started like shouting your mouth off. Like people aren't going to be happy about it.
I don't know, why would he do that? Like, surely he's got to be mental.
You put it down to his age, I guess.
Do you not think even at 20 you just got your dream job in WWE, you would think that you wouldn't do that?
So has he been released, or
who
is he just? He's not been released, is he? He's just in the bad books.
He's backstage, yeah.
But once again, he's another one that there's a lot of pictures of him turning up with Triple H as well. So
a lot of people are saying it's so he's sort of like living the heel gimmick.
But he's not a heel, is he?
Not at the minute. I've watched him in the ring though, and some of the things he's been doing.
Unbelievable, isn't he?
And I don't even care if he's got heat or not. He's gonna have to they're gonna have to keep him because he's mint.
He's some of the things he does with his body. I'm like, it's like something out of the Matrix.
It's mental. Like some of the stuff I can't even remember. Off
so has he wrestled? So he wrestled an actual match with Velveteen Dream.
Yeah.
Where Velveteen Dream beat him quite quickly, but other than that, I'm not sure if he's wrestled again. He had a
good Velveteen Dream. Like they give him a good few minutes.
That's the size difference, I guess you could say, makes that make sense.
Anyway, so that happened, and then we lost Darren Young.
Yeah, I was good.
Which we were upset about.
I was really upset. I think he had so much untapped potential and never really got the gimmick right. I think the closest they got right, like making Darren Young great again, but that was the closest they got to
making him great.
But I just don't think they knew what to do with him. He'd cut since he got sorted his injury out. He cut a load of weight. He was looking like ready to go.
I don't know. Well, you would have thought there was somewhere to put him.
I would have thought you would be a good candidate for the Miz Taraj.
Or any sort of like, what about Titus Brand? Titus Worldwide? That would have been good.
Not that they're just all being treated jobbers now, though, aren't they?
I know, but that's still
a thing.
That's still a thing that could have happened for him. He could have. I quite like Titus Worldwide.
I really like that, but you can only like something for so long when the people lose every week, and then it's like.
So we've also lost Summer Rae, who I wasn't really bothered about. Sawyer Fulton, who I didn't know where he went.
Sawyer Fulton was the guy who was in Insanity before.
Yeah, he got released. Don't really know what happened to him. The guy who won Tough Enough, apparently he's been released.
Never even made an appearance on television.
Apparently there's more to come though. I don't know if you've heard that.
NXT
more
guys,
releases.
You've got to be looking at people like Wesley Blake, Buddy Murphy.
Well, what about Gallows and Anderson? Lots of rumours going around. Although they've just brought a new T-shirt out now. It's like, I don't think they will get released.
I'm not sure. I think the Gallows, we often talk about because of your love of them, like the Gallows and Anderson problem. Like, I'm not sure. I don't think they can be rehabilitated now.
I don't neither.
I think they could work as running guys in a stable.
I think the only way they could save them is if they switched brands completely, brought them back in as beasts, maybe give them a break.
Could you put them on NXT?
You could.
They could run roughshod over NXT.
They don't seem to be wanting to do that though. No. I mean, there was all these rumours of another like superstar shuffle or whatever they call them, and it never happened.
Quick NXT note: they've actually made Roderick Strong did an interesting thing.
What did he do?
He pretended to join.
Oh, and he was yeah.
That was like, Roddy, this is interesting for you.
You have personality. Did he?
But then he'd done a promo and he was standing in the background and I was like, this not fair at all.
He's just thinking about his wife and kids, isn't he?
Yeah.
But there's been people getting released from Impact as well. All the referees have apparently walked out.
Earl Hebner's gone.
Apparently they're paying people to go to their shows now, $50 a pop. We could go and do that job.
I would.
Me and you could
imagine we were walking through Newcastle City Centre and someone said, "Do you want to come and watch
I'll pay 50 quid to come and watch this wrestling."
That's got to be an exaggeration of what the real
$50 apparently.
That's got to be an exaggeration. That makes no sense for a business to pay X amount of people $50. You're going to be out of pocket. It's pointless.
Plus a business that probably haven't got that much money in the first place.
No, definitely not.
Rockstar Spud's gone as well.
No, I like Rockstar Spud.
Do you like Rockstar Spud? Maybe he's going to the UK Championship.
We'll see him. We'll hopefully see him on some UK shows first.
You know what I thought was Daniel Bryan, but we've already sort of touched on that.
I honestly think that's the match, that they're going to do.
Would you like to see? Do you think Daniel Bryan's fit to wrestle? Apparently his brain, right, is now back in the state it should be, as if he never took a bump before.
He's been doing loads of different treatments.
Yeah, so according to his doctor, that's not a WWE doctor, his brain's back to the state it should be, as if he never took a bump before.
I mean, you could go...
Surely if he goes back though, he's not going to be able to be doing diving headbutts from the top rope and stuff like that anymore.
No, but Daniel Bryan could wrestle on the mat for half an hour and it'd still be entertaining.
But you wouldn't want him to do it if you thought he's going to ruin his life, would you?
No, but what I'm saying is you could do a non-contact, not non-contact, but a more submission-based style and still be interesting.
It seems to me though that if they don't let him wrestle, he's going to leave and wrestle anyway. Would it not be in WWE's best interest to keep him safe and have him wrestle for them?
Every now and then.
Now and again.
You could go so far into it and say, is Vince being a little bit vindictive because Bryan was the top guy that he never wanted? I don't know.
I know, but it doesn't make any...
You're telling me Kurt Angle, after all the drugs, the 4 broken necks, all the concussions, the millions of injuries, can get slammed through a table on his first match back, and Daniel Bryan can't wrestle?
He fell on his neck as well, did you notice?
Yeah.
When he got through out the ring. He got he hit his head.
So you're telling me that there's something fishy going on?
There is. Do you not think it's all been sort of maybe Vince has had this in his mind all along? We're going to do the retirement thing. You need to take a break. You don't have to take a break from telly, but you need your brain needs time to heal.
Yeah.
Maybe it's all been. He's a master class.
Shawn Michaels didn't wrestle for 4 years.
But Shawn Michaels went off the rails as well. It wasn't a sort of
Daniel
Bryan's
work,
you know what I mean?
Most clean living guy in the world.
So you got to wonder if this has all been planned all along. I don't know.
It's keeping people like us wanting it. So maybe Vince is just pulling more strings.
Mm-hmm. And he's the master at that, isn't he? I've also got... Did you see that tombstone that Finn Balor posted on Twitter saying bye? Goodbye?
No, but...
This is where he was getting... Round about the time he was getting a little bit buried by Kane. A little bit.
Finn has got a history of hiring out the odd little... Teasy tweet.
A lot of people thought he was referring to Gallows and Anderson.
But then he went to a no contest with Samoa Joe, and then he's on Team Survivor Series, so
yeah,
it's not as if he's...
I don't think he's going
and
anywhere.
the idea is, apparently I was reading that Kane beats these guys, loses to Strowman, and then they get their wins back.
They're just trying to build. They've got no other monsters now, have they? Like Strowman's beat all the monsters, and he's beat Big Show. He's beat.
That's why I'm kind of someone like Killian Dane. There's a place for him on the main roster.
Surely after Survivor Series, there might be a few more call-ups. You gotta bring Authors of Pain up. There's nothing left for Authors of Pain to do on NXT.
Can't wait for them. But I hope that they don't have the Revivals look.
I know, horrendous.
Bad.
Still not back.
My boys lost the belt.
That's the end of me Wrestle Thoughts. Is that quicker Wrestle Thoughts than
It was
normal?
quickish. Can we quickly talk about my boy Jinder losing the belt?
Oh yeah, I was happy about it. I was over the moon.
I was really sad about it for a few reasons because I don't think AJ needs it.
I think the WWE need it,
but AJ Brock, pretty exciting.
And I also think Jinder will get it back for the India tour.
Yeah, I think it's once again Vince pulling my strings, or your strings. I think he's giving AJ the belt, but I think Jinder's gonna get it back.
He'll get it back in his rematch. He'll probably win it back in India.
Yeah. That'd be big. But AJ bumping for Brock is quite exciting, and I don't believe they've wrestled before.
I know. I just hope it's not like a 10-minute Brock squashing of AJ because he doesn't deserve that.
It'll be. I think he hasn't really wrestled a little guy for a while, Brock.
It'll be interesting to see how it's going. It'll be interesting to see how long he can keep it up for.
AJ can sell a story where he can get out of the way of Brock all the time. Hit him with a phenomenal forearm, run off, do something else.
I think AJ deserves it after all he's done lately. He's done quite a bit.
I'm not saying AJ doesn't deserve it. He's the best in the world. But what I'm saying is I don't think he needs it.
Jinder had a good run for someone who
6 months.
for someone who wasn't really meant to have it.
He's a main eventer now. Well, in the eyes of the company.
Maybe.
Everybody in the world hates him, so he's got to be one of the biggest heels
Do you
in the
think
world.
he'll continue after this tour of India to be main eventing shows? Because you're saying he's a main eventer, but these shows aren't selling out anymore.
But I don't think that's necessarily just Jinder's fault.
Surely a show that's main evented by AJ Styles has got more chance of selling out than a show main evented by...
I'm sure that they did a comparison of the numbers between the AJ Styles and Jinder Mahal title run someone on the internet, which means nothing because it could have just been a load of shit, and said that the numbers were pretty much the same, but
really?
Who knows? Who knows, eh? Do you want to do a wrestle poem? I do. Shall I do mine first?
You do yours first. What's it about?
A night out in the north.
Nice.
A
Is
Tory
this about
Hill.
your night out in the north by any
My
chance?
solo night. So I went to North Wrestling by myself. That was weird.
When people nearly got chucked in the river.
Yeah. A Tory Hill spitting wine in your face. England's hardest men delighting the place. Drake and X putting on a wrestling clinic. A match that could turn their biggest wrestling cynic. Sick boys take on some spiritual guys. In the north, heels are faces in our eyes. Slater avoids wrestling a competitive contest. You're fucked, shouts the primate, back out of that test. An absolute beast collides on the Tyne with Wales' finest. A hellacious brawl that nearly ended up in a river riot. A night out in the north was super fun. Hats off to the crew, a great show was run.
Good. So did you really enjoy it? It was
I
really
did.
good. Cool.
It would be a good drink and wrestling show. I mean,
Yeah,
I was by myself.
that didn't go down well last time though, did it? We didn't remember anything happened.
Well, but I don't think we'd be drinking from like 11 o'clock in the morning. Say we met up by 5.
Yeah.
Would be in a good...
We'll do it next time. It'll be a good... January's a bit of a rubbish month, isn't it? So it'll be a good way to...
And you save a large chunk of... If I get any Christmas money for that.
Right. Mine's called Bye Bye. It's about people getting released. Release me, set me free, said Neville and Aries. Summer Rae was let go. Darren Young could still be great, just in a different time and in a different place. Neither Emma or Emelina could make it work. Lio Rush acted like a jerk. Over in TNA there's much of the same. Referees and Rockstar Spud all on their way. It's not the end for you guys. You can all still live the dream. just have a word with Cody about the indie scene.
That's it. I like it.
I don't think I read it that well.
No, you did. And I think it's very poignant at the minute. Like, who's to say Darren Young's not going to go on the indie scene and make, like, and come up with this character? He's
gonna have free reign to do that now. He can build his own guy now in the way. I don't think they do
this 60 days no compete clause anymore.
Aries has been wrestling, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So
he's wrestled over here.
So
I'm just downloaded Tortoise Jericho from today with him. Apparently he spills the beans.
Does he? Is that the latest one?
Yeah.
You know, another thing we haven't spoken about is Bubba Ray Dudley retired a while back. Just thought about this the other day.
Do you think he'll join Devon as a yes? Yeah.
He was a stop no the other day. I seen him on
Devon was.
Yeah, on Raw I think it was.
Who was it who was on the stretcher?
Was it
Daniel Bryan?
Daniel Bryan, he was stop no. Respect to Bubba Ray. Hope he does something cool. Brother Ray.
There's no cooler thing than becoming a stop no.
Do you think he could do that? Do you think like people?
I don't know. Well, Devon's a road agent who helps put the match together. He's got a lot of experience. He's like well travelled. The other ones are like Jamie Normal, Finlay.
Stop no. What a job. Have you got anyone to put in the Hall of Fame?
Not the Gonzalez Hall of
Shame.
Who's Pete Dunne?
Pete
Pete Dunne and Callisto. Super best friends.
Confusing Pete Dunne moment.
Confusing Pete Dunne booking.
I'm down with that. Like,
so I was confused.
You can't put Pete Dunne in. You just have to put
the
booking in.
Yeah. So I was confused in a lot of ways. Happy to see Pete Dunne. Happy he won the match. Wasn't happy that Enzo kept being distracted by Callisto, which cheapened Dunne's win. Wasn't happy with the fact that he celebrated with Callisto at the end. He should be bloody elbowing him in the face.
Yeah.
So Pete Dunne's booking, although I was still happy, but yeah, I'm putting it in.
I said exactly the same to Jake. You know, when Callisto went and raised his hand, I said he should have hit him there. Yeah. he should have hit him. That's what should have happened.
But this is the problem, though. Vince books Raw. Triple H would have been backstage going, nah.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if he elbowed Callisto afterwards and done a heel face.
Triple H looks after his boys as well, doesn't he? The ones that he likes.
Yeah. And like you know that he like plays the long game. Like he's obviously, you can't go in, you must know how Vince works. You can't just go in and go, Kevin Owens is your top guy. You've got to like,
you've got to build it up. That's the end of it.
And that's the way I look at it. So I was annoyed the fact that his booking was bad, but I wasn't annoyed because he was there.
I don't ever want to see Pete Dunne in that situation ever again, where he's having his hand raised by fellow wrestlers.
Super best friend Pete Dunne. That can be.
So that could be. He's going into the Hall of Fame. Super best friend Pete Dunne. He's mate. We wouldn't pick on him. You know what I mean? He's
like Pete Dunne, my favourite wrestler at the minute. Super best friend Pete Dunne. He's not.
Nah.
But he still is. It's confusing.
Yeah. Alright, bye, Pete Dunne. You're going into the thing. And also bye from us, because that's the end of the podcast. If you want to get in touch with us, WrestleFriends Podcast at yahoo.com. Please do.
Messaging clients on YouTube and SoundCloud, iTunes.
And if you're a wrestler and you listen to the podcast, why not come on? Because we'd like to talk to you.
It would make our day.
That's it.
I would get to write a list of questions to ask a wrestler.
Yeah, he likes writing this. Is that it now?
Yeah.
That's it. Bye.
Thank you.